Oh man, the answer is it's not me, it's you. It's a great shirt. Um, so here's the drill. It's 4th of July weekend. I don't have too much to talk about. I'm going to keep the show exceptionally short tonight. Basically, I want everybody to have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. And after this week, I'm going to go really hardcore into making videos. My 32 team breakdown. My 32 team breakdowns are going to come starting September the 17th. I'm going to make a few of the videos ahead of time. Then I'm going to go ahead and release them once a day, Monday through Friday, and go from there. I've had some problems with my top 10 tight ends of all time list. I've done multiple revisions. I think I have my list planned out. I think the list is good. The video, I'm aiming for a release date of July 11th, but there's a good, I might do it over the 4th of July. It's just kind of been difficult because I've all the lists I've done, the tight ends list, I've made multiple changes, and it's been a lot more of a struggle than I really anticipated. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't have too much to say, but I do want to touch base on one thing. Cam Robinson, the starting left tackle for Jacksonville Jaguar, a 4-game PED suspension. Now, if you go to Jacksonville's schedule, their first 4 games, you have a division rival on the road in Indianapolis. The Indianapolis, very talented team. Now, there's good chance that they're going to start Anthony Richardson. And that's kind of an interesting story. That's something I really want to pay attention to. But Gardner Minshew, don't forget Gardner Minshew is starting quarterback for Jacksonville. If you look at the history of the Indianapolis Colts, the owner has gotten involved, and the owner has said that he wants Anthony Richardson to start, and he's been pretty adamant about that because Peyton Manning started his rookie year. That worked out okay. Andrew Luck had a lot of success as a rookie starter. Manning did not, but one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. With an athletic talent like Anthony Richardson, there is a push from the owner to get him to start day one. I think it would be a big mistake. Either way, you start off without your starting left tackle. The one thing the Colts do have is a very good defense. So what they're going to do now, remember in the first round, they drafted Anton Harrison. I wasn't super fond of the pick, but I liked Jacksonville's draft. What they did is they traded down a couple times, kind of stockpiled on draft picks. And usually a team that in Jacksonville's situation where they had the first pick in the draft, and then they went from the first pick in the draft to winning a playoff game, advancing to the divisional round. Usually a team like that takes the stance of, hey, we're just one extra player away from getting over the hump. And they did just the opposite, and they stockpiled young talent to build up the back end of the roster, which I think is genius. And I love what Jacksonville's doing, but this Cam Robinson suspension is really bad because you at Indianapolis. Week 2 is a big one because I was planning on actually betting on Jacksonville, believe it or not, because they're going to play my Chiefs. And you're going to say, Dan, you're betting against the Chiefs. Well, yeah, and I'll tell you why. September in Florida. If you're in the Kansas City area right now, my computer says it's 93. Earlier I saw it was about 100. And because it's been raining, it's sticky outside. Take the stickiness and double it and add about 5 to 10 degrees, and that's probably what you're dealing with mid-September in Florida. There is a big home field advantage for Jacksonville, and because there is a big home field advantage, I really thought that would be a game that Jacksonville could steal. And it's a big game because you're playing against Kansas City. Kansas City's hosted 5 straight AFC Championship games. In order to get that advantage away from Kansas City, you get a great opportunity week 2. Now, Kansas City's going to have a few extra days because Kansas City's going to play at home on Thursday, where Jacksonville's going to travel to Indianapolis on Sunday. So you're going to have a few days advantage, but I really thought that game gave Jacksonville a really big advantage. But losing Cam Robinson, what you're going to do, you're either going to start your rookie left tackle, Anton Harrison, or you're going to move Walker Little, your second round pick from a couple of years ago. He took over for Cam Robinson when he went down. He played really well on the left side. I'm going to pay attention to that left tackle battle, but this is a big loss. So you add Indianapolis, Kansas City, then you get Houston week 3. Now I think I'm pretty good. I think you're pretty good there, but then you have a really, really big one. Where is this game? This game's Jacksonville starts the first of their 2 London games. So Robinson's not going to be able to travel with the team on the beginning flight, to the best of my knowledge. He'll have to catch a commercial flight out there. But at Atlanta, technically it's a home game. If I'm correct, that's the one in London week 4. And then the Buffalo game, week 5, they have back-to-back. I think they're both in London. And forgive me for not knowing that, but I'm looking at this 5-game stretch, and then you play Indianapolis week 6. I could be looking at Jacksonville 2-3, realistically. And that Atlanta game, that's not a gimme. That could easily be a loss. I mean, there's a chance I'm looking at that Indianapolis game 1-4, 2-3. So this Cam Robinson suspension is a really big deal. It's a really big deal. So can they handle this? Because after Indianapolis, at the Saints, at Pittsburgh before bye week, Jacksonville, you could be looking at week 9 going into the bye at maybe 3-5, and you have to figure out some things. And it's going to be really tough. But I really thought that before this suspension, I thought there was a good chance that they could beat Kansas City week 2. After this suspension, I'm like, man, I don't think that they can do it. I really don't think that they can do it. And I'm looking at who knows what's going to happen week 1. Week 1's a very weird thing. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as Jacksonville is concerned. But this suspension for Cam Robinson, I think, is a really, really, really big deal. And it really, really hurts. There also are multiple suspensions via gambling. And I think sorry about that. I have to mute this part here. I will get suspended. So multiple players were suspended, including Tennessee Titans starting right tackle due to gambling. And this is something that's going to be a tough thing for the NFL to adapt to, is that there's going to be more and more people betting on sports. Gambling online's getting really big. I live in Kansas, where they legalized sports betting last fall for football season. So there's a lot of sports betting that's going around. I think they're going to make some changes because it's a pretty strict policy, but multiple suspensions. There's multiple suspensions over the last couple of years. So it's something the NFL is going to take a look at. It's easy for me to kind of go hardcore and just blast the players for suspension for gambling and being suspended. But it's very easily accessible. And I think there are some changes that are going to be made to this policy, but the Titans are going to miss their starting tackle for 6 games. So it is a big deal. It's a very big deal. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But I'm really excited about breaking down all 32 teams. I'm going to go in original draft order. So Chicago's going to be the first one. The second team is going to be the Houston Texans. The third team is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, I think team number 4 is the Rams. I'll have to double check that. And then, the Denver Broncos are going to be court number 5. So it's going to be a great series. I can't wait to start the videos, but it's just a question of doing it. once you start doing videos on a daily basis, it becomes a lot easier. But since you're not doing them, or since I'm not doing them, I'm a little out of practice. And I've had some problems starting the top 10 tight ends of all time list. But that's where I'm at. Normally what I do is I basically just wanted to have some Q&A, some questions and answers. That's what this show is going to be about tonight. I really didn't have anything planned. I did want to talk about Jacksonville and how the Cam Robinson suspension. Also, another side note is that he signed a 3-year, I believe it was $50 million deal. This suspension voids that guaranteed money. So there's a very good chance with Anton Harrison being the first pick overall that Cam Robinson will be a free agent after the season. Jacksonville can get rid of him. And when you have your starting tackles already there, it kind of looks like that's what's going to happen. You could also see a trade. That's a possibility after the suspension, but maybe before the trade deadline, and that's something you may want to look at. We'll have to find out what's going on with Jacksonville. But if there's no questions, I think I'm just going to end the show really early. I don't see any questions in the chat. I know it's 4th of July weekend, so I don't think a lot of people are going to tune in. I wasn't really planning on it, but I was going to keep the show open as long as there were questions coming in. Since I don't have any, I'm just going to end it. There's the only 2 topics I really wanted to go over was the suspension of Cam Robinson, and then I'm going to bring up the tight end video. I'm going to hopefully work on it next week and release it 2 weeks from now. And then my previews are coming July 17th, and that's pretty much all I have to say. No questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and end it because I was just going to do a question and answer show. I know a lot of you guys doing 4th of July weekend, so enjoy your 4th of July weekend, and I will see everybody back next Friday.